As a busy mom and professional, I've often felt guilty about not being able to spend time, as much time as I'd like, in the schools with my kids. And I also have parents and in laws who have retired, and we spend time with them. But once again, I'd certainly like to be able to spend more time with them. So when I heard about the program you're about to learn about, I was really excited. It's absolutely the answer to the needs of these two specific age groups. Jason Powell and Eric Peterson joining me to tell me about Seniors for Seniors. Guys, really good to see you today. Thanks for joining me. So, whoever wants to jump in, what is Seniors for Seniors?
You want to go for
Right,
that,
Eric,
Jason?
go on, Eric.
Okay, Senior for Seniors is we are actively engaging in tackling into the isolation, loneliness, depression, and sometimes suicide in the senior adults, whether they be at their homes, senior community centers, or wherever, as well as high school youth. It's a nutshell.
So, this was your idea, Eric. And what made you come up with this idea?
Well, I was a caregiver a few years back, and I was daily interacting with these senior adults in the senior community. And daily, I was finding some things were just missing. And at first, I couldn't put my finger on it. And then more and more interacting with these people or individuals, I found what they were missing was connection. And back up a little bit when I say that, when I say connection, I mean that you can be around people, in the same age group, common interest maybe even too, but
Yeah,
you don't necessarily have a connection with somebody.
yeah, so important.
And
Jason, yeah, go ahead, Eric.
so what happens, I thought, they're missing the connection with their family members, to with their school associations, to church, so what it may be. That's what they were missing. And they gave me an idea to, I want to do something about it. And then I found out time too, the senior high school kids, because high school is facing the same challenges now with social media, to different things they're associating with, trying to fit in a crowd or who they want to be with. I thought, put these two together. That's good things can happen.
It's a brilliant idea, and the two age groups that need it the most. So, Jason, tell us your involvement and what you see the need to be and what you're doing.
Okay, well, I'll give the context in terms of how I sort of reached out to Eric, as it were. For 30 years almost, I've been doing a lot of research myself, looking at older people's experiences, as Eric hinted at the beginning, on isolation and the effects of that in terms of loneliness, and at times quite devastating, which is suicide ideation. So I tried to look at ways and means in care settings by which, well, what can be done in order to sort of, enhance this? And in the research community, there was a lot of critical questions that were being asked about it. But unfortunately, as we all know, critical questions only take you so far on any journey. It's what you do with the critical questions that counts. So I tried to sort of think of ways and means by which, for example, say, older people's quality of life could be enhanced, and tried to look at geographically around the world, as it were, what programs were put in place in order to facilitate that. And bang, out the blue, I came across Eric and Seniors for Seniors, because on the other hand, I always had an interest in terms of intergenerational justice. And that was about bringing younger people and older people together, but not in the way and means by which Eric had put together. So Eric is a very humble guy, but he has got an extraordinary innovation. And part of that process is, as you quite rightly adapt to, is about the idea that if you can make someone who feels that they're not being listened to be a mentor to a younger person, that not only just gives them a voice, it gives them confidence. And, that old concept of the ripple of hope brings then, a sea change of social change and transformation, because then more and more older people get involved. And then that breaks the cycle of ageism as well between us and them. And then younger people have much to learn from older people, but equally, older people have much to learn from younger people. And that is what caught my attention from Eric's program. And it was convincing, compelling, and that's why ever since day one, we've been on the same page, as it were,
Yeah.
and we've never left. So basically that's where I've come from. So my background's been very academic based, but this is very much from what Eric's model had put together, as it were. It's very practice and transformational, and that's where full credit is given, massive credit is given for such innovation.
So, Jason, let me ask you. So, your background is academic in this area of studying, in studying relationships and mental health, and that's your background.
That's correct. Aging,
Mm,
gerontology,
mm,
intergenerational relationships. But the idea of bringing educators and, say, for
hmm.
example, care providers and older people and/or high school together, as it
Yeah.
were, was quite a compelling narrative and a massive gap in the UK, may I add.
Yeah, so you're in the UK, you just mentioned. We're here in the
Mm.
United States. Let's talk about how it works. So I love the concept. I absolutely love this concept, especially during the pandemic where we had people so isolated. They needed to make those connections, loneliness greater than ever. How does the program bring seniors to seniors in high school, our senior age group to seniors in high school? How does it work? And whoever wants to take that, please do.
Okay. It's actually quite simple now. What we are doing, if I remember, I'm fine reach out to people on LinkedIn because I think it's a good source to find people in these areas of focus like in senior communities and so forth. And I'm reaching out to them, telling them what I'm doing and inviting them to what I'm doing in a non-pressure way. And then who's what need from the senior communities or any senior adults that are interested, if we get the name and the phone number, we'll take it from there. And then we also reach out to our high schools, which have to one high school so far, just due to how much traction we made so far. But what we do, we get a questionnaire, a safety form they fill out, and we find connections and they have common interest they have. Or our goal is that, Jason kind of hinted at too, if they have a queer interest, that's in common. So if you have say I'm a high school student and I was interested in gerontology or in education, and then here's Jason, the senior adult that has this background, that'd be transformational and putting them together as a strong mentorship because they can teach each other so much. And what we do from there, I'll make a email or a phone call depending on the intentions of each groups, and I say, hey, Jason, I think Eric is a good match for you. What do you think?
Yeah.
He concurs how the same thing about to the youth, and it concurs by that match. I give them a coverage call, and we make it happen.
It's
And then from
perfect.
there, I had the youth have their experience to set up meetings, to work with them to schedule besides their own, and so forth. And then too, the youth can be mentored and supported by that senior adult. And
And do
then
they do
too,
this in person? Do they do this over Zoom? Do they have to be in the same community?
no, but now Zoom. Actually, when we first started doing this, our deal was face-to-face interaction, and we got approved for the COVID. Right before the COVID happened, we got our approval. And our first thought was, what are we gonna do? But then that doing you mentioned now doing going on Zoom, we go this virtually. So we said, okay, we'll do this virtually. So it has some limitations we have our language because you could have somebody from the UK talking to somebody in the US, or we found that at least I found myself,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where they are. There's the desire to serve as well as the limitations on what they have technology wise.
Yeah. And Jason, how big is the program and what's the goal overall for the
I
business?
mean, obviously at the moment, Eric's created this model in Colorado and it's looking to be rolled out, as it were, across states within America. But obviously it's also there's no limits to it either. As Eric hinted at there, the idea that geographical boundaries play a role in it are irrelevant in a sense. Because if someone's got common interests in the UK, and you can use technology in order to facilitate that with someone, say, in the US, or and it's another example in England, or with someone who lives in Scotland. So I guess what I'm saying is there's no boundary to it. And obviously the goal for younger people in particular is about service. And also it also bridges the divide and gets rid of that concept of ageism that's been so prevalent for a long time. And it gets rid of a lot of misunderstandings as well between young and old. Older people do this and younger people do that. And that's ageism both ways. And by getting rid of that, gets rid of a lot of assumptions and then get some realistic sorts of, conversations, relationships that become created. And out of those relationships, you can get extraordinary outcomes where people who've had mentorship and coaching on, say, career aspirations, and they've been mentored by older people who've been there, done it, bought the t-shirt. Imagine that capacity that person's getting, and how uplifting it is for them in terms of inspiration.
Yeah.
So, it's unlimited in that sense. So you can see the goals are multifarious, really,
It's really a
non-geographic.
perfect scenario. It's a perfect scenario of helping everyone. Is it a for-profit or nonprofit organization?
We are a
No.
nonprofit.
Okay. So where can people find out more information? Maybe they have a mom or a grandma and a senior in high school. Where can people sign up and learn information?
The best way I think is to do, if you have a computer access, most people like that will have access. Look up seniorsforseniors.org. And doing so, every page has a subscribe button. You subscribe your email address in there. Myself and my president will get an email, and we'll reach out to you, and then that's where the matching starts happening. We'll give an email back to say what's your meaning of subscribing. Is it to find information? Is it to get started, or what may be? We go from there and we'll make it happen.
It's terrific. Jason, any last words from you and what you'd like to see with this worldwide?
I mean, there is the essence of what you say. I mean, obviously, small stepping stones, generate huge strides. And huge strides are, the idea that eventually, pending language barriers as well, because that's the other issue. The intention is for it to be international and in terms of its scope and reach and significance. And that's the long-term aim. It's limitless.
Seniors for Seniors. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Good luck with all you do and keep me updated.
We will. Thank you, Natalie. It's been a pleasure.
Real pleasure.